Hello to everybody watching and listening, and once more, welcome back to some Mechabellum here. Playing against, do I attempt to pronounce this name? I shall try. What? I think that's something naughty, actually. But I don't know. What do I know? That's not exactly my realm of expertise. Anyhow, my opponent is playing with Rhino Specialist against well, in my case, I'm the opponent for him, Supply Specialist. I'm starting with Marksmen and Mustangs. Not particularly amazed at the start. I think I would have enjoyed sledges more, but, you know, you can't always get sledges. My opponent, however, did. He also has the Marksman, and he does have 2 packs of Crawlers. Basically, this will be a fight of who can clear chaff better, the tanks or the Mustangs. I guess technically they call Mustangs also a light tank, but I find it hard to really think of them as a tank. Like a tank per definition, for me at least, is tanky, and Mustangs are not tanky. My opponent wins this one by an absolute landslide for the moment. Next up, here comes the counter for tanks. Sabertooth's also worth a thought, probably, but I do go for the Scorpion. I do like my Scorpions. What does my opponent pick? There's nothing really here for the Scorpion to do. Did he go for the Sabertooths? I wanna say yes, but I don't exactly know. Or did he go for the Fangs? I don't know. Let's see. We will see his unit drop momentarily. He did go for the Saber. Okay. Scorpion here. On the side where there's already more marksmen. Curiously, he's flanking with a Sabertooth. I think, yeah, he sold the other one. So he's basically trying to get money out of this. And this, I'm not even sure if it wins against a pack of Crawlers. The AoE, or the splash range of the Sabers, recently got buffed. And they did get a bunch of buffs previously as well. Honestly, in my opinion, I think they are still not all that useful. I have not yet tried out photo animation though. Maybe they are useful in that capacity. Anyhow, my opponent decides to drop some additional chaff. Round number 2, that is a very decent option if you start without it. I mean, almost even if you start with 3 units of chaff. Dropping more chaff round 2 is just developing a basic board, in my opinion. These will get pulled, and with the assistance, it should be easy picking here. Yeah, I think this gets destroyed here. And fairly quickly so. Anyway, the battle starts. This marksman is completely naked, basically. It has no units protecting it anymore. Some late chaff is arriving. The Mustangs are trying to go in, but Mustangs at level 1 without items suck. Some of the Mustangs get pushed in by the Crawlers. I really would like that they, or if they could make it, so that the Mustangs no longer can be pushed by the Crawlers. This side, however, absolutely wrecked the opponent. And that means there's a juicy tower debuff coming in momentarily, which will win me this round, no doubt. Now, there's simply too much left. And this is why some people hate the unit drops. I guess my opponent could have mirrored the Scorpion, but even so he would not have known which side to put it on. There is subsidized Arclight coming out, but my opponent picks the portable shield. I think I picked that as well, but I'm not 100% sure. He does put it on these sledges, which means that they will take 2 shots from the Scorpion to destroy, no matter how powerful. I also picked the shield and put it on the Scorpion, and then I throw down another Scorpion on the other side, because there's some sledges here to kill as well. Basically, right now I'm playing Scorpion, Mustang, and Marksman, along with chaff. My opponent is dropping additional sledges, which in my opinion is almost pure insanity against somebody who is starting to drop Scorpions. And, like, I drop a Scorpion on one side. Does he think that's going to be the only Scorpion I go for? He does also pick up range on the Marksman, which I'm not 100% sure why exactly. He also drops a missile, apparently. As Rhino Specialist against Supply Specialist, that means he's putting himself further behind. At least eco-wise. Anything can happen in the game. Now I think these are far enough back so they don't get hurt. Yeah. But most of the crawlers get destroyed. And the Mustangs as your front chaff is definitely not good. But the crawlers are able to cover in a timely fashion. What is the correct way to say it? On this side things are going a lot more smooth. The chaff has been annihilated. Now kind of the Mustangs are my chaff. And the Scorpion is able to tank for the marksman. Late chaff here is not doing all that much because the Scorpion already was locked onto by these. The chaff was missing. That would have normally been protecting it. Let's speed it up. I get the tower debuff first, but that means I get an atrocious tower timing here. And I think under the tower debuff, this can probably all get cleaned up. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Fangs were a little too far behind, otherwise they would have tanked all of these marksman shots and allowed me to win, potentially. Pretty sure they would have allowed me to win. Now, Orbital Javelin, Junior Manufacturing, Incendiary. Not so much Elite Phoenixes, we both have marksmen already. But all three of these are potential options. I go for Junior Manufacturing. I think my opponent does as well, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, this will basically allow me to get a very good eco. Okay, he mirrors it as well. Decent choice. I do drop some additional Scorpions. My opponent sold something? Ah yeah, he sold the Rhino he dropped, or he got dropped because of Rhino Specialist. That honestly is the fate of most of these Rhino Specialists. I kinda wish you would be getting something better than just a Rhino. Otherwise, Rhino Specialist is just a bit of delayed economy in most cases if you're not going for aggro. And even if you're going for aggro, you can just buy a level 2 Rhino by round 4 if you need it. Yeah, I definitely think Rhino Specialist is a bit bad. I do end up buying out because I forgot to throw down shields, so I do. Like, fire would have devastated me in this round. My opponent does indeed level the sledges, and I'm looking at this level and tech on the sledges against somebody who now has 4 Scorpions on the board. Is this good? I think the answer is no. Basically, it's marksmen and tanks and chaff on one side against Scorpions, Mustangs, and marksmen, and of course chaff on the other side. And in my mind, this can only go one way. And it's going to be the hard way for my opponent, unless he does something to change it. Late chaff already approaching, so the marksmen are very likely to be distracted. I lose this shield, but I do get to keep this shield here, which is very fortunate. This is probably, yeah, it's going down as well. And I guess all of the marksmen are getting wrecked, and it's a lot of damage for myself, and my opponent takes that lot of damage. Sticky Oil Bomb, another very decent combat power that you can now not only unlock in your tower, but you can also get it dropped. That is also pretty old news at this point. Elite Hacker, definitely also worth a thought. Elite Phoenix, once again, not really. Steel Ball production into Scorpions, probably not all that great. The oil bomb comes out, and I drop it like here. My opponent also takes the oil bomb and drops it on the side where there is no shield. I finally invest into range for the Mustangs so they can stay behind the tanky little Scorpions here. And I do actually remember to drop an additional shield so that I don't get slowed and potentially set ablaze by these Stormcallers my opponent just purchased. They are fairly forward, I must say. But I guess it makes sense because they are still out of range of everything that I have, and they will immediately start doing damage. Maybe I should be dropping my Stormcallers more offensively. But I guess as the battle develops, if you have units with higher ranges, they will basically move up to here and start shooting at chaff, and then the Stormcallers will be kind of exposed. He does throw down a shield, so we both kind of get equal amounts of not a lot of oil. I think I got more, but I don't have fire anyway, so it won't really matter, I guess. The Stormcaller's definitely a good choice for my opponent. They start doing some real good damage to these scorpions here. Despite this thing being level 2 health-wise because of the portable shield, it does go down very swiftly, and they also trade very effectively into these Mustangs. However, my opponent has a little bit of a chaff problem. It is under control for the moment, but it's definitely something that you need to keep watch for, both for yourself and, of course, as the one who's actually being surprised by that chaff. That said, this is a pretty terrible round for myself. And as much damage as I was able to do to my opponent, he now does that to me.